World Championship for one reason and another. Have played 3 times since then. Big crowd in once again. Big night. The Ronnie and Ding show continues. Will they meet in the semis? We played well yesterday. Anthony McGill, though, did squander a few chances. Ali Carter, despite the record, he does seem to always come into these matches with a confident air, but can he get the match won? Look at the crowd. It's a full house here. A couple of latecomers taking their seats. Don't want to miss a ball of this. Still best of 11, of course. First to 6 to play the Ding or Zhang in the semi-finals.
First frame, Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
So Ronnie O'Sullivan is looking to reach his first ranking event semi-final since the World Championship in 2022. That's, of course, when he won the record equaling 7th. Didn't make one last season. Will that change here in Tianjin today? He's up against Ali Carter. They did play in Shanghai, actually, a couple of months ago, and O'Sullivan won that one 6-3. But 16-1-0, that's the key stat, isn't it, really?
It is, but like you said earlier, the one is a significant one. It's the World Championships. And it was all credit to Ali Carter for getting that win, having lost in 2 finals to O'Sullivan there. So, you know, he knows he can do it. There's a little bit of argy-bargy, as everyone knows, in that match. A little bit of a shoulder barge and a few words spoken. But they've played since, and it's one of those, you know, not huge rivalries really in the game. We've seen greater issues between players. As you say, the main issue is that Carter has only beaten him once in a long career.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly the most one-sided head-to-head in the current game. Stephen Hendry beat Terry Griffiths 17 times out of 17. So that was going back. But, well, we'll see. I think Ali always comes into these matches believing he can win. Don't think that's the thing. It's just it hasn't been happening for him over the years. Not seen too much of him, of course, on the main tables this week, but he's played some good stuff along the way. Beaten to level up and then won the decider there. So on the outside tables, he's been coming through pretty strongly. Of course, O'Sullivan has been on this table since day one.
Yeah, and I think we have seen all of O'Sullivan's matches as usual because he's on the main table, and I think he's played pretty well. I mean, I haven't always thought that. There's been patches where he looks a little bit in and out, a little bit ragged. Other times he's doing what he always does, scoring big on tables that are conducive to exactly that. Anyway, you can see from the player view, if there's a little sliver of that red sticking out, that's all there is. Ali thinks otherwise. Not quite hard enough.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 4.
I think the conditions have been really excellent all week in Tianjin, where, you know, a lot of tournaments in Asia, occasionally the tables play differently to what they would perhaps in Europe or the UK. But generally, the good conditions and the pockets have enabled the big scoring. All those centuries there's been. Barrage of breaks all the whole way through.
Yeah, I mean, this morning we had the 100th century at the venue so far this week. It was 43 in qualifying, but we've now had 100 at the venue. And each of these two have made 6 apiece.
I'm not entirely sure what hit first. I think it was red, I'm sure. Peggy Lee is spot on with that. It'd be lovely to see it again, but I suspect it won't be. It was a bit touch and go. do think, as I said yesterday in here with Alan, that safety plays a big part, especially if we have got a lot of scoring being done, because you have to make sure you get your first opportunity in a match or in a frame, and often that involves a safety exchange which leads to that chance coming. It's not as if it becomes redundant safety. If anything, is more important.
Yeah, and we've seen O'Sullivan prepared to play that game all week. I mean, the first frame yesterday against McGill was quite tactical. McGill won it, but O'Sullivan dug in, and there were other times in the match where he had to do the same. Well, he's not played that one very well. And there you are. I mean, that red, it could really have finished anywhere, but the minute it was going back towards Bulk, you fancied he would leave it on somewhere.
So that is the point, isn't it? You have a safety exchange in some of these frames, not all of them, of course, but in the ones that you get a safety exchange. If you win that, then you've got to follow it up by potting the balls, and it's not a bad table. It's just a question of the first red being in bulk and getting onto his colour and taking advantage of winning the tactical side of things.
Of course, already in China this season, Ali Carter's been a finalist in Wuhan. He was one of Judd Trump's 3 victims, but lots of ranking points there for the one-year list, also cementing his top 16 place as well.
Three. Four.
Well, certainly 2023 has been a good year for Ali Carter, picking up the German Masters. Of course, he didn't progress at the Crucible. He lost to Jack Jones, didn't he? And I think he certainly has proved that he's a force to be reckoned with again.
Yeah, I think there's certain players, and we saw one earlier actually, Stephen Maguire, they sometimes fall away a bit, but you kind of think they're going to get it in because they're just so good. And Ali certainly falls into that category. He was a top 16 player who wasn't in the top 16 for a while, but he got his place back, of course, that win in Germany. He got to the final of the Players' Championship just after that as well. But as we've already seen today, you know, the strength in depth in the game means there are players lower down the rankings who can put together really strong performances. Jordan Brown, Tom Ford, both in the semis.
Twenty.
It's not quite as he wanted. There's a lot of reds that he's got to get that cue
27.
elevated up over. I mean, he's not straight on this red. That would make it easier, but look at that. It's a very difficult task to get down above it, play the shot. What's he getting out from under the table here with all the elevation?
On the wrist.
Well, lots of things, basically. It's one thing being over one ball, but there's two there. Very difficult shot, this, and cue ball's kind of heading towards the black anyway. Even if he does get the pot. He's done it ever so well there. Very good shot.
Yeah, there were a lot of things to hold there and a lot of things that were sort of moving, but he couldn't really, from where he was, have finished any better.
28.
Chance to continue, won the safety battle. Looking to take advantage now with a frame-winning break. He has won 2 of his 5 ranking titles in China: Shanghai Masters 2010, World Open 2016.
Yeah, and I think with Carter, there's lots of different sort of strings to his bow, if you like, but I think his chief weapon is competitive instinct. It shines through, and it has done more so in recent years. You know, you're in a match with him, he's one of those players. Tricky little shot to hold for the black here. Played it well. I mean, they're all competitors, but with Carter, you just know that, you know, he kind of almost snarls a little bit. He's out there trying as if his life depends on it. And it's good to see, because that's what snooker's about. You've got to give it your all out there.
43.
Doesn't very often leave much behind.
$44.
Just the kind of start he absolutely needed against O'Sullivan.
$51.
Of course, he's a little further away from his next red than he would have wanted. That little head shake told you that. Well, in fact, there was nothing that went. I have to say, I thought he was on that left red, but clearly not. So he'll be annoyed that he didn't finish off the job that he'd started well. Only having to go with Peggy Lee to ensure that photographers, of which I'm sure there are many because you hear all the clicks. Just listening.
I said if you can take it or you don't take it, play a shot. If you can make it mute, it's okay.
I think what it is, just from what I didn't hear a lot of clicks, sort of, which are cameras, of course, just as the shot and perhaps just before the shot had been played. That is distracting, I'm sure.
Yeah, I've seen him more animated about it. He was very polite about all that, wasn't he? But there have been times, certainly in the UK, when photographers expected to get pictures of him have not been there very long.
Indeed, they're getting a few snaps of outside the building after about a frame. Anyway. Good shot again from Carter. He's made things difficult already in this half a frame we've seen. That's what I say, that's what he has to do. Not touching. It's a bit of a nothing shot, but actually you wonder if O'Sullivan could put Carter in trouble here. Screwing off the bunch in behind the yellow. Certainly putting the cue ball to the cushion. Don't know if Carter's last shot was a very good one. He's got complete cover. It would be troublesome, but he has got a way of playing a containing shot here. Dump shot. Cue ball at the black end. Spoke to a couple of people about this match yesterday, and in the eyes of some, if O'Sullivan doesn't win this week, which of course he may well do, a lot of people feel that the most likely player to beat him is the man he's playing today. I mean, obviously the other half of the draw, you now have Jordan Brown and Tom Ford through. That would be the winner of that in the final. Ding Junhui's record against O'Sullivan recently, if he wins, isn't great, although of course last year's UK was a massive exception. So I'm not saying this is the final, but it's a very interesting match. It could be one way O'Sullivan gets beaten, I suppose. Having said that, of course, not looking too far, Jordan Brown has beaten Ronnie O'Sullivan in a ranking final. So we never quite know what we're going to get.
Well, chances come along here, and the balls have opened up as well, so the lead itself isn't worth that much, really, if he can knock this in, get on a colour. His long potting was very good yesterday. That was the one factor of his game that was impressive for sure. Ooh, but the black stays out.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 1.
Yeah, if you miss a black off the spawn here, you've missed it, all right. Into the far jaw. I suppose they might just have tightened up a fraction as the cloth wears, and when we get to the semi-finals, no doubt it'll be a brand new cloth and they'll be sliding in again. But even then, they're still playing easily. So had he lead in the opening frame of 11 here, potentially 11. It's a good shot from Carter. That is terrific. Exactly what he meant. Black's gone safe as well, so that makes his lead seem even bigger, 46 points.
Foul. And a miss. Hardy Carter, 4.
Very, very close to that red, didn't he? Without hitting it, missed it by a millimetre, or even less, half a millimetre.
Peggy Lee's the referee doing the replacement.
Foul.
Well, this time played with more pace, hit firmly. And of course that's a significant error. Leaving reds and probably leaving the frame.
One.
Cue ball just going on annoyingly too far though for Carter there. There might be an argument to knock this longish blue in and just play from the middle of the table on reds. They'd be annoyed with that last shot. Perfectly on the blue, there's absolutely nothing to do to win the frame. Still, that's a good recovery.
Of course, he was in first with 51. O'Sullivan did pot a good long red after a safety battle. Missed the black immediately, though. Carter now looking to close this out. We've seen the importance of his tactical game already. It's earned him the 2 scoring chances in this frame. This is the red then, that should make it 1-0 to the captain.
11.
Yes, and I suppose if you could pick a template to beat this man, O'Sullivan, it would be the kind of frame that Carter's played here. He's taken the sting out of the occasion. He's kept him mostly in the chair. And while he'd like to win a frame in a single visit, and he's taken him a couple, ultimately he's kept the most dangerous player the game's ever seen sitting down.
24. 25. $31. 32.
Of course, the one thing to add to that is that O'Sullivan did get him once and miss a black off the spot, which of course we'll be thinking about sitting in that chair, but he did have his chance.
$39.
Well, it's a strong start this from Carter. Big match for him, of course, on the main table against the main man. Huge crowd.
45.
Opportunity to reach a best of 17 semi-final with a ranking title
47.
at stake at the weekend. Whoever does win will have a day off tomorrow because we're going to one table for the semis. It's a big arena, isn't it, this Tian People Stadium. I don't think there'll be any collisions around the table. Plenty of room in this particular arena.
54.
As I say, although the record is not good from his perspective, he's got a lot of belief, Carter.
59.
And he's shown his best qualities, really, in this frame. Good tactical play and then making the most of 2 scoring chances.
65. And a frame, Ali Carter.
Yeah, 65 to follow the 51 from Ali Carter. 1-0. Remember, it's first to 6 to reach the semi-finals of this International Snooker Championship. Ali Carter, world number 11, breaking off in frame 2, leading Ronnie O'Sullivan 1-0 here in the quarterfinals of the International Championship. It's O'Sullivan's 139th ranking quarter-final, looking for his 89th semi-final. But as I say, not been in a semi-final since the Crucible in 2022, 18 months ago, in a ranking tournament, that is.
That's the best shot he's hit already in this evening's session. Well, that he did not want. Wanted to just slip past that red and be on the red above the black, but he hit it on the way down. For O'Sullivan's control of the cue ball, that will seem like a serious error. No, good recovery though. That was a tough shot, and I know that had he missed it, there would have been an element of frustration from the previous shot.
Ten. 11. $18. 19.
Since this quarter-final match was confirmed yesterday, seemingly a lot of expectation on this match, and there's no reason why it should be a classic. Both players, I have to say, are in good form.
$24. 25. $30. 31.
Well, the reason he's not on the black is because he didn't pot the red cleanly. I mean, he nearly missed the red to the left jaw as we were looking. So the cue ball swung wider than it was meant to. That's two errors in that little break, both
31.
positionally. And I have noticed that this week, even when he's been playing well, there have been shots without the usual without the usual amount of control that you'd see from O'Sullivan. His cue ball control is the best I should think the game's ever seen. But it's just been a bit in and out once or twice. From him, you don't expect it.
Well, he's not been doing those, Sullivan, really. He's reacting when things have gone wrong. He's just sort of got on with it, played safe and trying to get another chance. So we've been saying all week, is he playing well enough to win the tournament? Well, the point is he's in the quarterfinals. So at some point, you know, on Sunday maybe, we'll have to stop asking that.
Exactly. I mean, he's playing better than the people that have been knocked out. And the deeper you get into these events, If you do get players that are less familiar with being there, you always favour the serial winners. Now, will O'Sullivan fancy this red at his best? Of course, he will knock it in, and as Dave says, he's been knocking in enough of the long balls this week to say that he's cueing well. But these shots will never be anything but an examination of how you're hitting them. So that won't cheer him up. Not overly close.
Yes. 请大家把手机调成静音，谢谢。
Yeah, I think the issue here is he's playing towards the crowd, so people obviously need to be still and let him play this shot.
If he tried to go into them, the angle he was coming into them is a very narrow target to hit. But the bottom red is available. Just. I'm not sure how much more of the red he could have hit than as much as he did.
One. Eight. Nine.
Thin edge of it. Oh dear, he's hit the wrong side of it. Now then, it's still early in the match, but Carter has been offered a bit of a lifeline in frame two that I don't think anyone else expected. Probably not even him. Quite honestly, I haven't seen one of those missed the whole week. It was never quite there. That was a surprise. They still nearly went in, even though it wasn't actually that close.
Well, it felt like a big visit either way, didn't it? But to fail on the first ball, it's going to be a little test for Carter. Yeah, two reds he's missed off either wicket. So after all that, O'Sullivan 2 pots from securing the frame.
Six. Seven. 14. 15.
It's been a rather stop-start affair in terms of the frame, but as I say, he seems to have this attitude
22.
in China this season that he'll take what comes. And that's what's
Ronnie
happened.
O'Sullivan,
Carter
22.
did contribute there, though. Had a chance. Who knows how far he would have got in the clearance, but he didn't pop the first red. And O'Sullivan stepped in and did enough. Fascinating start. We're all square at 1 each.
Head and shoulders. I didn't know you had dandruff.
Fascinating start. We're all square at 1 each. So Ronnie O'Sullivan has levelled up at 1-1. It wasn't a clean kill by any means in that frame, but he has levelled up with Ali Carter. First to 6 will reach the semi-finals here. It's 1-1 on table 2 between Ding Junhui and Zhang Anda. Remember, the first semi-final all day tomorrow, best of 17. Jordan Brown against Tom Ford. Well, that could have been a lot worse. Obviously, Quist the red, but it sent the cue ball back to ball.
Yes, that's also an error in safety, just hitting the brown full on. Again, a long straightish red. These ones you've got to hit well. Carter may have a shot here to get the cue ball in behind the brown. Certainly, while it's a difficult shot, if you've got the cue ball stuck to the brown ball, it would be a difficult escape. An awkward shot to play. I've misjudged it somewhat. It's another very fine safety shot from Ali Carter. He's vastly improved in that department in the last 3 or 4 years. Maybe a bit longer than that, because he's been in the 2 World Finals. You're not going to get that deep into a World Championship unless your all-round game is weak in any way. Keeps winning the little battles. He's not leaving anything easy always, O'Sullivan, but Carter is winning the battles when it comes to the tactics, the early frame shots. Slightly awkward queuing. Now once again, Carter is outwitting O'Sullivan in the safety exchanges. It's happened again. Bringing about chances. Whether he takes them, that's the next step.
Yeah, he's been very impressive, hasn't he, tactically? But like you say, it's then about doing the heavy hitting when you have earned the chance. And Ali, he likes to stay active and stay busy, and it is a busy time. He's in the Champion of Champions, of course, winning in Germany, so that's next week. Then it's the UK Championship, so big few weeks of snooker coming up.
7.
But this is a huge tournament in its own right. 175,000 to the winner. Real prestigious feel to this venue, to this whole event. Packed crowds. So this would be a huge achievement for him if he could lift the trophy on Sunday.
$40.
As you can see, the angle on the blues taking him away from the reds. I mean, he could play all round the angles to get closer, because, you know, bulk colours that could be in the way are not in the way, the yellow and the brown. So if he fancies swinging the cue ball around the angles, the shot is certainly there without any obstruction. Slightly in between shots there from blue to red.
$20.
Cue ball near the side cushion like that makes this difficult to play with anything but just a drop in. I mean, he really wants to get the cue ball away from the cushion for his next red.
你好，先就坐，不要走了。
Because it is under that cushion rail, it's so much easier to just play it slowly, this blue, like that. It's the problem with it, you end up losing the cue ball and you never get it back every shot. This break has been difficult, and certainly the last 3 or 4.
25.
Well, he's in no hurry with these shots. That one wasn't exactly worth the wait.
25.
It was a bit of a painful 25 break, that.
One.
It's going to be a 2-1 to Ding Junhui on the other table against Zhang Anda. Well in front in frame 3.
That's pretty good. He played into an area where he had so many possible reds to either left corner or left middle.
Seven.
Yeah, the cheering there was for Ding, by the way, on the other table, not that pink. If the night crowd, of course, has been
14.
royally entertained by these two all week. He's just lost the white there.
Yeah, and most of the times when he has, he's slightly overcooked shots, overscrewed them, put too much spin on, rather than the other way around. Well, it's like the table is
Beautiful.
more responsive than he is anticipating. I saw him after the first 4 frames yesterday. He stayed out there and was rolling the ball up and down the table, the cue ball, and seeing if there was a roll. He seemed to be suggesting there was. And of course, because it's Ronnie, all the table fitters were out there in the mid-session addressing the point. And that last shot seemed to roll straight.
Yeah, and he got a lovely second kiss off the yellow as well to leave Ali where he is here.
Xin 请大家尽量保持安静，谢谢。
I mean, if he's going to play straight into this bolt cushion, this is a fiendishly difficult shot to judge. It's hard to get it to work out what's going to happen. You saw how it jumped. I'm not even sure he played a hit that red. All I know is as soon as he hit it, the cue ball jumped because it was straight into a cushion. Might be behind the yellow here. That's where Sullivan will be aiming for. saw the idea. Excellent. Had to really sort of whip the cue ball around the angles to shape it back to bulk. It's quite thin, this red. It's not really a shot to nothing from there, especially with the cue ball playing ball going back into the reds down the centre of the table. So when did that shot spring him into life? He's been playing okay today so far, but not with any real zest.
3. Four. Nine.
I think this is the thing with O'Sullivan. He's expected to entertain, isn't he? But of course, he's actually here to win. And it's not always going to be dazzling break after dazzling break. Sometimes you have to just roll your sleeves up. Carter's tried to make it tough for him, and he has at times. But he himself, in this frame, when he'd earned the chance, he didn't make much of it. He just lost his way almost immediately.
He really belted that pink to the middle with a view to getting reds in play, and he's done that. But he's still got a bit of work to do. If you can take these 4 reds with high value colours, you might need the other one. Just closer to the cushion.
70.
But just the first signs of O'Sullivan pressing on here. Goodness, he didn't hit that well. He nearly missed it. He nearly missed it. And he had no reason to pinch a bit of pocket. He just didn't cue it well.
23. 24.
So he's going to need the 3 reds. Just checking the scores.
30. 31.
Yes, he wouldn't have done had he taken blacks, of course, but that's awkward as well. So the same thing as trying to pop the red, I suppose.
37.
Getting on the back earlier in the break. But the other
38.
thing to say is that he'll only need the red. With 33 in it. So he can drop the red in if he feels that way. And it should be end of frame. No need to play on a colour. And that's, I think, all he's looking at here. Roll it down this cushion into the pocket and win the frame.
45.
Very businesslike. And any suggestion that, you know, Carter's tactical game or even just the pace of play is going to frustrate him, well, it's not happened yet. He's not necessarily flying here, O'Sullivan, but he's going to be 2-1 in front. You would think.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 45.
2 snookers needed.
Two.
Trying to get the snooker here.
巴黎卡着
And
2。
behind the brown was the plan. It'll be 2 snookers, obviously. So he's up against it. We see frames 1 with plan requiring a snooker, maybe 2. Occasionally more, but all of that doesn't happen that often.
Well, in fact, he's had a look. He doesn't like what he sees. So it's quite a low-key frame, but Ronnie O'Sullivan just stuck to his task, and he has won it. And he's edged in front here in this quarter-final
请大家保
at
持
2
安静，
frames
谢
to
谢
1.
隔壁还有比赛。
Back underway in frame 4. Ali Carter's broken off, trailing 2-1. Has left a potential red here. Oh, beautiful. As I say, his long game this week has been really encouraging. There's another one, finds the back of the net. There's already quite a few reds in play here. Black on its spot. Chance to get away here early in this frame from the Carter break-off.
5。 6。 13. 40.
Is this the moment he just pulls away with a big break? He's had 6 centuries in the tournament. He's been producing these bursts of inspiration. We saw it in Shanghai. 3 times in that tournament he made back-to-back centuries. And that makes a big difference in a match, of course.
21.
The speed that he plays as well. Not least to just to demoralise your opponent.
$29. 30.
，just a moment, please, Ronnie.
Could be that the pink doesn't go on its own spot here. Peggy asking for a little bit of time. Certainly that opening red that O'Sullivan screwed in will bring about some confidence, or it might well do. Now that he's edged his way in front without ever really playing that well, having lost to frame 1.
Pink. 36. 37. 42.
If he can get a high angle on the blue, that will be
43.
the next part of the equation. Yeah, well, he's off straight, and I think as he's just off straight, he'll try and power it in one cushion. It's not the usual way to go into the bunch, but I think it's the only one he has unless there's a plant. There's the shot. Oh, he's played it well, hasn't he? But it's just a difficult route. He might be on the left-hand red through the gap.
48.
You don't always fancy getting on a red from that shot, but I think he has. Keeps looking across. I'm not sure if he's still not completely zoned in. I don't think he was looking at the scores because I think he knows what's required here. Well, he popped a lot more balls, but just the eyes are just coming away from the match table every now and then.
54. $55.
Once again, the split has not gone ideal. A couple of reds to right middle, both difficult. One up the table into either left middle or down into the yellow pocket. Hampered queuing on, not straightforward either. Well, he stayed down on it, he wasn't entirely sure.
60.
One or two of the members of the audience seems to think it was going to go in.
Well, how significant could that be? There's plenty still on here. Still a potential 75 points on. A couple of frames ago, Carter had a chance at a clearance. He missed the initial red. Didn't get any further.
1.
Yes, and of course, if, as you say,
4.
he's got this chance again, he squandered the last opportunity. If this one isn't taken either, it would be a uncomfortable few minutes as they went for the mid-session because it's a proper chance.
5.
By the same token, O'Sullivan will be frustrated that he hasn't sealed this frame either. Lots of work to do. He'll need plenty. He'll need the lot from here, not just up to and including anything, just every ball.
$12. $13. $20.
Maybe a little glance off the other two reds here to bring them into play. Yeah, that's a
21.
lovely shot. That's solved one potential problem that he had, getting on those two reds. What a chance. Combination of being delighted to make it 2 each, but also at this stage the pressure of
28.
not actually doing so from here.
29.
I wonder if this could ultimately be about blue to pink. But it's a chance he might not have got.
think you're probably right. Of course, then it becomes almost from brown to blue, doesn't it? If you finish
36.
straight on the blue, you haven't got a shot at all on the pink. So those few shots in a row will probably be the deciding factor in this frame.
$37. $42. $44.
So coming to the point, as Dave was saying, where it is all about getting on that pink, but the two shots that precede it are also pieces of that jigsaw.
47.
The ideal angle, just top side. Slight angle, not a very big angle, and definitely not straight. Shortish, that's good.
$56.
But he did miss an absolute sitter into that pocket, a red that was easier than this.
It's all come down, yeah, to the last two balls. He broke off, left a long red, which O'Sullivan knocked in, was going well. Took on a difficult red on 60. And the question was, could Ali Carter make the clearance? And there's the answer. Big moment in the match. It looked like 3-1 O'Sullivan, and then you felt he could race off into the distance, but Carter has pegged him back. They're the sort of breaks that really make differences in big matches. 2-2 at the mid-session interval.
Frame 5. Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
So Ronnie O'Sullivan led, was 60-0 up in frame 4. Ali Carter produced a magnificent 69 clearance to make it 2-2. This is the second half of this quarter-final. It's always a fascinating matchup, this, even though, as we've said, it's a very one-sided one in terms of previous meetings. 16-1 to O'Sullivan.
Yes, and you get that weird psychological balance in snooker where you get players 2-2, which suggests you should think, right, let's go again, ignore the first 4 frames. But of the two, certainly Carter, having picked up that 4th frame in the way that he did with his clearance, O'Sullivan looked all over the winner of that frame before it happened. So he wouldn't have been too pleased with 2-2. Carter delighted. It was about 3/4 ball, but he hit it almost straight on there, and quite a mistake. I mean, no shot is easy at that kind of distance, but he felt that he would get it and at least get very close to it.
Well, if you're Ali Carter right now, you might not be too hopeful of coming back to the table. We'll see. Of course, he did in the last frame.
Now, as he held the spot unexpectedly, and what would be the implications of that? Might mean that he's not on this red, I don't know. It depends on the replacement. Yeah, it's not helping matters. Just another sign that Sullivan's control isn't as good as usual. It's normally absolutely immaculate.
8.
But it's been a little bit slightly out of control. Sync really with his usual game. Handy that the red to the middle was what he was on, but he's not on his colour. And to play a recovery shot here. Difficult this. It's sort of shot, if he was to miss this blue, he'd be annoyed about the last 2 or 3 shots.
Ronnie O'Sullivan,
It
9.
won't cheer him up.
No, I mean, where the balls were when he came to the table. If you said, how many will he make here? How many people would have said 9? But it went wrong immediately, holding the black spot.
One.
Goodness me. Again, I'll say that I don't think he potted it cleanly, the red. But he's finished. It looks like nowhere to me. Black's not potable. It's been a strange old start to this 5th frame.
Hardy cards are 1.
An early shout for a possible stalemate here with the red in. Wanted to take an undue risk. And the 8-point lead of O'Sullivan I don't think will mean a thing. So I think the chance of a re-rack here are increasing. These two are, you know, I don't think they're great buddies, but I don't think there's anything too bad between them. One look across, catching the other one's eye, and they might be sending the balls back for a re-rack. They've known each other a long time over in Essex, back to junior days and the like. Of course, O'Sullivan has been around longer. Oh, well, that's interesting. He might have tempted O'Sullivan into a long pot here. Red up into the top left pocket.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, we're back to this again. We've seen this already from LA today.
Yeah, of course, last time it was on a pot. This, I don't know where we're getting at the moment with this little exchange, you know. red up the table is the culprit, really. It's no one wants to take a risk and play to a safety shot to bulk, understandably. But I'm not sure where this exchange is going. Well, if anything, Ronnie showed a little bit of lack of patience there. Because it was hard to think how that was all going to unfold, and in the end he's taken a risk and he's left this chance.
One.
Tried to avoid the black, but now that he's glanced off it onto the blue, it's not bad.
Seven. Eight.
Just feels like there's even more tension after the clearance he made in that fourth frame. We've seen it a little bit early on in this one.
Thirteen. Fourteen. Nineteen.
Yeah, could have come onto the blue there, which would have perhaps given him an angle to just go into those reds. I just feel that playing on the pink was more beneficial. The reds do look a little tied up, those half a dozen down the centre. Well, when respotted, does the red go past the pink?
26. $27. $31.
It's a bit of a stodgy old frame early, wasn't it, with all those tips tipping up into the red and not really looking like the frame was going anywhere. think Ronnie just lost the patience first to continue, understandably, really. Thought perhaps there could have been a re-rack in this frame, but ultimately, Ali Carter has taken his chance when it's come. But he's only a few in front still. Taking lowish value colours again, so that's not helping that much to get over the line. It's a good shot. He's on that middle red, goodness, to the left corner.
35.
I mean, he couldn't hardly have put the cue ball in a better spot. Still isn't delighted with it, though. Yeah, he knew that he was making contact with the other red, but he wanted to just screw back through it almost. And again, up for the yellow, so the points aren't really mounting up. But he's still in control, more importantly.
$38. $39.
Well, it did look in the fourth frame as if his break-off shot was going to be his only shot. He left that long red that O'Sullivan beautifully drilled in, going along nice. He just lost ideal position, went for a tough one on 60, left it in the jaws of the yellow pocket, and Carter cleared up with 69. And that one frame could have turned the whole match. Because Carter's starting to look really good here. Highly focused as well on every shot.
44. $45.
Well, you can only just see enough of the red to pot it. If he slips past that red on the pink, it was an excellent shot, but he hasn't quite achieved all of the aims there. Yes, he's on the pink, albeit awkwardly, and the cue ball's drifting down the table, so given that he will need another red to follow it, yeah, the frame might not be quite over. Playing that pink over the top of a red with the cue ball moving away from the red's not much fun, really. Never cut that, I must be honest. Looked like he hit it on the thin side of the potting angle.
51.
Another red wanted. It'd be hard fought, this frame, if he can take it.
Well, now, in the last frame, Carter made a great clearance. Can O'Sullivan return the favour? That was frame ball, but it stayed out.
One.
It was actually a very sweet piece of cueing. Stroked it in. Just problem of getting from black to red. Very unusual to think that he would play that under his body, so he's going left-handed, which he's more adept at. Just awkward cueing though, isn't it? Even with the rest.
Would you mind to wait for a minute? The lights.
Well, this is not a great moment for something to be not an unscheduled break at this stage. It's an important shot, this, if he can get from black to red.
I think the referee mentioned something about the lighting or something there.
Looks all right to me.
But put it this way, Ronnie was not put off by anything until he was told to stop playing.
He didn't know there was a problem.
We don't like to see a player put off by a situation or distracted. He's got the pot, but he's gone too far on it.
8.
Well, I don't know if he can just drop this in dead weight, because obviously he could go too far on it and be snookered behind the pink. It's not really his sort of shot to just play the pink, play the blue slowly enough to just reach the pocket. That's why he's played it the way he has. Every shot is a problem at this stage.
14.
You keep feeling he's one shot away from clearing, but that positional aspect has eluded him. Not even there.
15.
This is not perfect either. I suspect if he knocks the brown in, then that will be the last awkward shot. Oh, he's playing yellow instead. This is as significant, if not more so, than the last frame that Carter stole.
17. 19. 22.
Well, what an intriguing contest it's turning into. It looked like Ali Carter had used that shift of momentum in his favour. Missed frame ball red. This clearance has not been straightforward.
26.
But you feel it is now with the last 3 balls on their spots.
31.
Yeah, it felt like the elements were against him. There was a brief break in play. Every red he got on was difficult, but he's kept the break alive somehow.
Another big clearance in this match, this time made by Ronnie O'Sullivan. Ali Carter missed frame ball to lead 3-2. So Sullivan holding the edge here in Tianjin.
Born in the wild, rare, intoxicating. The soul of Sauvage, Elixir, Dior.
Yeah. Remind me of butterfly dogs. Waist tight with a body like gold. Hit you with the Dougie Fresh pose.
She a freak, she a dancer. She gon' pop it on camera. Throw it back if you nasty.
Oh! Go ahead, break it down real low. Go ahead, break it down real low.
Google Pixel 8.
Red light, green light, go.
I'm busy, busy, busy doing nothing. Doing nothing, that's the life for me. When I'm doing nothing, I'm doing something that suits me.
At EDF, we're busy generating more British zero-carbon electricity than anyone to help keep future energy costs down for everyone and help cut UK carbon emissions to nothing.
Have diabetes? Wonder if you can have more carbs? With the Freestyle Libre 2 system, easily know your sugar values and where they're heading. Real-time readings sent right to your smartphone and no more routine finger pricks. Manage your diabetes with more confidence. The Freestyle Libre 2 system.
There can be only one. There's only one king. One goat. One hedgehog. Oh, nice wall, Joe. But there's only one great one. And finally, only one biscuit, the true original, and one person to tell you about it. Me, Trevor McDonald.
Actually, it's Sir Trevor McDonald, and I'll take it from here.
McVitie's, true originals.
So, 3-2 to O'Sullivan. He looked like he'd be 3-1 up. But of course, Carter won that frame. Then it looked like he'd be 3-2 down. But he made the clearance. Now then, coming up at the weekend, we've got the final leg of the Track Cycling Champions League from London. It'll be tomorrow from 8 o'clock CET and Saturday from 6:30 CET. So, Ali Carter had his chance. He missed frame ball. He didn't get another one. O'Sullivan kept that break going despite interruptions and despite losing ideal position. Just kept potting them. And he is himself 3-2 in front. It seems to be a matchup this that always delivers. The problem from Carter's perspective is it always seems to deliver an O'Sullivan victory. But we'll see. It's very, very closely fought this today.
I mean, very often it's not about the century breaks that are made. Of course, they're great to see and people love them, but it's often about the frames that you win that you should lose, and often vice versa, where they both had one each. But most recent would be the last frame. I'm not sure how Ali Carter lost it or how O'Sullivan cleared, because the reds were awkward. He seemed to get distracted or was alerted to an issue by the referee when he wasn't distracted himself, but he seemed to brush it all off and cleared up, and that was his frame. There's player view. I always think it's very informative of exactly what it looks like on the other end of the table when you've got an awkward safety shot, looking for a thin edge or anything to get you back to bulk. It's not always an easy route. But on the left might be an up and down safety shot off that, but if it's near the cushion, so you know the double kiss on the red would send the cue ball out wide and into the other reds. He's just trying to drop onto the red, which is, if he's playing it, it's a pretty unusual way to play the shot. And push the red itself on. I don't really understand that shot because O'Sullivan's right-handed and he might have a dart at this down the cushion. They're not the tightest. I thought that was an odd decision to make. They're just going in very easily. I could see it on maybe the tighter table we saw at the British Open in Cheltenham. But I think down there, if you leave sort of a ball on, the player's going to be very tempted to knock it in, as O'Sullivan did there.
3. Four.
Has he gone far enough? He wants to be on that left-hand red. So he'll just kick his foot out as if that would help in some way. Not just a fraction further down, he'd be on the red. I think the balls have run a little awkwardly in this match. So we're not seeing like a barrage of huge breaks as we have in other matches this week. You get days like that. But O'Sullivan is in a position here to press on in this match. He's in first with a
70.
is now a good chance. If he could open up a couple of frames lead,
18.
then it might be a question of how many more chances he would need to get the match won. But again, just overdoing the last shot fractionally on the blue. Played that well, just stroked it in.
21. $22.
This time short of pace, as you saw his head dip a little bit after he hit the ball.
$27. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 27.
Yeah, I think that'll be frustrating for him because he just wasn't getting on the balls as usual again. Turning into one of those afternoons where neither player can quite break free. Yeah, well, sometimes, as annoying as it will be that he's gone in off, you know, it's not actually a terrible result.
Yeah, every frame has been really hard fought and almost sort of like a decider in itself. And just when you think one player's on top, something happens. Carter, though, yeah, he's battling to regain a bit of the old level-headedness.
That's an absolute screamer of a pot.
One.
That's as good as it gets at long range. Bit of a crowd pleaser.
Yeah, good kiss as well.
Five. Six.
Well, all day they've struggled to get the correct angle on the blue, these two. I'm not saying conditions have changed, but there'll be a recover before the semi-finals start tomorrow, which means that maybe a few days in with the same cloths on and cushion cloths, that things have changed a little bit. Maybe it's not playing as responsive as it was, this table. I'm not trying to make excuses for the players, but these two are very sort of out of character, breaking down in position quite a lot.
11.
Yeah, there's been so many shots like this, really, that you kind of expect him to get, but there's also at the same time is missable. On we go then, Ali Carter with his chance here in this 6th frame. Could easily have been 3-2 up himself. He missed frame ball red in frame 5. By the way, it's 3-3. Ding Junhui and Zhang Anda just gone.
$70.
Well, Carter didn't play that last shot very well. He shouldn't really need the rest. And he dropped. But he's recovered it.
80.
Albeit, things come at a cost. He's had to end up going to bulk. Had he been right behind the ready on pink or black. So he's just getting out of position shot by shot again. And it's a very important frame now. Sullivan got in with a real struggling break of not very many. And Carter's almost doing the same thing here. Well, if the first red on the right of the black goes through the gap into the left corner, that's very handy.
$21. $28.
It's just really annoying, isn't it, for both players? I'm sure the frustration is evident. They're just finishing out of position slightly. And in the end, you miss a pot. And I didn't expect him to miss that one, but it's just a build-up, I think.
One.
lot depends on the two reds, of course. In fact, that's the key to the frame, how they're dealt with. Now the angle to split them, but he has to bring them into play. And one shot here that is successful is likely to be a frame winner. Well, it's a kind of an afternoon where nothing like that is happening. I mean, usually those sort of cannons, you would push one red out of the way of the other one. The frame lives on.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 15.
Mightn't be the worst shot to end the break, but it's still very much second prize. You wanted to get the frame one there.
It's pretty much full ball on both reds, essentially.
Oh dear, that's a big mistake, and you heard the cue banged into the floor. From black to red looks a natural because the red seems to go into the left middle pocket past the blue. $18 in front, it would be hard to foresee him not clearing up here or getting over the line.
Nine.
It's not been a great frame this, but it might be a very significant one. Carter had his chance. He's missed a very comfortable red to left corner.
Yeah, they were both really struggling to control the cue ball. Actually,
16.
saw Carter just react on that last shot, leaving the red on, leaving the frame on, and O'Sullivan, who looked set to go 3-2 down, is going to be too clear at 4-2.
19.
Without really flowing at all. It's all been bits and pieces.
23.
But he did make that excellent clearance in the last frame. That has made a big difference in this match. Carter, at that point, was definitely on top.
$34.
So O'Sullivan maybe starting to make his move here. Again, he had to dig in that frame, but he got the result he was looking for. He's 2 from the semis, leading 4-2. Not least seeing these great players just struggling, which they both did in that last frame. And in the end, Carty was snookered on the last 2 reds. He left one on, he sort of banged his cue. It all just got a bit too much for him, and O'Sullivan did enough to win the frame.
Just a bit of control missing from both their games, which is most rare. Not only Carter, but especially O'Sullivan.
Frame 7. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 2 break.
Ronnie O'Sullivan then 4-2. Just opened up maybe a significant gap here. Certainly, if he can win this frame, then Alan Carter in serious trouble. O'Sullivan's highest break, 60, and that was in one of the frames he actually lost. Whereas Carter has had 4 half centuries, but he's 4-2 down.
His long game has been okay, hasn't it? He knocked in an absolute blinding long putt in the previous frame. Screwed back down the table on the last one. Top spin on this one. Yeah, a bit unlucky there. I think the red cuts in fairness, but he's obviously the cube was just travelling through bulk. He doesn't know for sure if he hit a bulk colour here. Well, even worse than hitting a bulk colour.
ID Carter's 3. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 4.
And he couldn't do anything with the cue ball. I mean, he was queuing down on it, just cut it in and hope for the best there. So that's not going to make Carter feel better. He banged his cue when he played the shot which allowed O'Sullivan to win the previous frame. And that won't cheer him up.
Meanwhile, Zhang Anda is going to be 4-3 in front against Ding. He's on a big break next door and looking really good, as he has done this season. Pete O'Sullivan in Brentwood. Could be playing him again on Saturday.
Well, looking at this red, it's as much the red, which of course the potting angle is important, but where's the cue ball going to be sent off to in potting it? I always felt when he hit the reds, albeit he only glanced one, but it did send it offline. I think at the moment, if you're not sure where the cue ball's going to go, it's going to go somewhere that's no good to you, because that's the sort of day it's been for both players. You can't always have complete control, but the breaks are not turning into lucky breaks, I think.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 1.
What has made a difference, though, is when things have gone wrong like that, O'Sullivan has done the right thing. You know, early rounds of sort of home nations, you might have sort of gone for a wild pot on a colour and who knows what could have happened, but that's not happening here. He's playing business-like snooker and he's prepared, it seems, to wait for another chance. Big moments this frame, 5-2. He's virtually there, obviously 4-3. Carter has hope that he can turn it round.
Played the cue ball well. In all fairness, it was a...
Hardy Carter, 8.
It's looking like a match of missed opportunities for Carter. I mean, both players have missed pots today, but the ones that Ali Carter have missed have turned out to be more significant so far. I mean, this could be an excellent chance again for O'Sullivan if he can knock this red in. A little tricky.
1.
But as Dave said earlier, he's not really scoring in big numbers. Highest break was in the frame he lost. So that's the one missing piece of the action today, really. O'Sullivan is not scoring. Despite a few chances, the ball's running awkwardly.
8.
But his cue ball is not under the best of control. Here he is again, though. Chance to press on.
9.
He's at this stage of his career, he knows one thing. There are days when you just have to get the win. I think this is one of those days. There's a lot resting on this. Tournament is opened up somewhat. Some of the, so if you like, big hitters in the draw have gone out. O'Sullivan and one or two others remain. A lot of people I spoke to said that they thought that if O'Sullivan was going to lose to anybody this week, it would be the man he's playing today.
$22. 23.
Well, what he has done, O'Sullivan, is he's just kept focused despite it being a match. It's the way it's played out that wouldn't necessarily sort of look for coming in today. Big moment, I think, when Carter missed that frame ball red. With a chance to go 3-2 up in frame 5. O'Sullivan made a good clearance and has just sort of toughed it out since then, really.
30. 31.
a little bit awkward here. He
38.
can just run through and escape hitting anything. I don't know if he can. Oh dear, that's really sloppy. That's very
Ronnie
sloppy
O'Sullivan,
from O'Sullivan.
38.
That'll annoy him because he got down to just hit it. He was thinking about the cannon on the green and he totally ignored the pot, and that's an old school thing to do. Something that everybody's done, but you know, at this point O'Sullivan could not afford to do that. Just when you think that he's breaking completely free of any restraints in this match. Now, it'll really hurt O'Sullivan if Carter goes on to win the frame here.
6. Seven. Twelve. Thirteen. Nineteen.
Now the two reds awkward. Again, bottom red, possibly you could get onto it, but then you've got to get away from the red above it for position on the colour. There's a couple of shots down the line.
$20.
The other thing he could do is he could screw into the two reds, but the way the day's been going, might not get the best result out of that shot. No, that's fine. That is absolutely fine. So now your eyes are drawn up to where the yellow is in relation to the green. And it'll need all of those.
28.
So there's still work to be done. I think in an ideal world here, he'd play on the green, pop the red down the cushion, if that's what he is planning on doing, take the green up the table, back onto its own spot, because yellow to green to brown, the cue ball's got to travel a long way. Well, he's missed that, so
Ronnie Carter, 35.
that becomes a problem for O'Sullivan to deal with now.
请大家保持安静，谢谢。保持安静，谢谢。
Disappointed, but not really showing any emotion there, Carter.
One.
I think Ronnie's interested in playing the green if he could, you know. I mean, the blue is an absolute natural look to get onto the yellow, so he's thinking the same way I was mentioning earlier on. Put that green back on its own spot, so the journey is shorter for position from yellow, green and brown. Great shot, well thought out.
Four.
It's just this frame just won't go away. You know, they're lingering on with mistakes continuing to be made. It really tried to go in, didn't it?
Well, it really is big now, this frame, isn't it? They both have chances to win it. 1 point in it on the colours. 5-2 or 4-3 as a result. The hand of the referee is just trying to keep people still in the audience.
It's never nice to lose a frame, but whoever loses this frame, I think, will be particularly fed up with things, because even if it's O'Sullivan, he'll have let Carter off the hook. If Carter was to lose it, well, of course, he's on the brink of losing the match. Good shot. Again, no angle at all to get from green to brown. Peggy Lee's fighting all kinds of battles with the crowd there. She's got to officiate this match, but there's got to have eyes everywhere, it seems. We're not quite sure what's going on in there, but there seems to be a few small distractions.
That's a terrific shot, really, considering the mistakes we've seen and the difficulty that he's had and the way the match has gone. Suddenly a lifeline has come his way here. The match was sort of petering out from his perspective.
Nine.
So, 8 in front, he will still need the pink.
Yeah, and he's not quite right on the blue. Taking it away from the pink. But that's a nice recovery, it seems. I keep thinking about that shot that O'Sullivan missed, that red to right middle when he was pounding the green. He played it just a bit half-heartedly, to be honest.
Well, he was definitely on top, wasn't he, at that point?
20.
Ali Carter has got himself back into contention here. As I say, the match looked like it was going away from him in a big way, but he stepped in and made an important little clearance there. Yellow to pink to trail 4-3. Superb. Once again, O'Sullivan showing no adverse reaction to losing a close frame. But what's been missing from him today is definitely big break. Still that 60 in frame 4, which he ultimately lost to the Carter clearance, his highest.
Six.
It wasn't the most hopeful walk around the table in terms of being on this. Yeah, he wasn't sure. I don't think he thought the red went and he didn't take it on. So again, a good early pot that's not really led to much. Mindset has been spoken about a lot. It was spoken about by Tom Ford earlier, actually, when he won. So important in snooker. There was just a sense that it was definitely not going to be Carter's day. Things were happening, but of course, until the match is done, it can be. And he has won that last frame. He's going to get a chance at this red.
There's been a story this match of frames lost that should have been won. Been a couple that Carter should have picked up, and a couple of Sullivan really could have also won that have gone against him. Ultimately, we've arrived at 4-3, but that's the theme of the match, more so than anything dazzling in break building. Just another example how the balls aren't really flowing, are they? I mean, he's played it quite well. He's hit the other ball. Anything but that sort of kiss on the blue, and he's got a much easier shot at the colour than what he's faced with.
Yeah, it's been sort of pint of blood stuff, hasn't it, in a way, but
4.
again, that's part of it. Sometimes you do just have to fight for every point.
Oh, that's a well-struck shot. Yes, again, he's a little awkward over the top of a red, but as I say, it's just summing up how the afternoon stroke evening session is going. Pushing this around a couple of cushions, maybe onto the next red. I mean, either side of that red, he's got the easiest shot to get from black to red. No, it's not perfect.
One thing we know about Carter, of course, he is a fighter. He's had to fight off the table through really serious health problems. Just a sort of change in his body language after winning that last frame. He looked a bit fed up at times during frame 7. Going on the attack here. Well, obviously red's gone in. Didn't see it, but must have gone in the green pocket. Sorry, the middle it was.
Well, you want to know, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, the next shot, I mean, it wasn't a sort of great result anyway, really, but obviously it was worse. The fact that the red went in, it just sort of sums up. It really is swimming through glue stuff at the moment.
Yeah, it just goes to show you, doesn't it? I mean, this could have been a match with like 5 century breaks, but it hasn't been like that at all. Been a sort of a twist in the tail of a number of these frames, though.
It's a sort of match once in a while. O'Sullivan might have played a few wild shots, but he's not done that, and that's part of the problem for Carter. O'Sullivan, if anything, is kind of the more composed.
Well, he seems unsure about how to get back to baulk here, if he indeed he can do so. There is that left-hand red, and it kind of gets in the way on possible safety shots. It's not as bad as if it was a little bit further to the left from here. You can go around the back of it. There's a possible safety option. Playing the other side, though. He's found a wide angle on that. Good enough shot. Well, both players having a lot of difficulty with the route back to safety, back to the baulk end. I'll tell you, that mightn't be the worst outcome.
One.
Well, thought the in-off mightn't have been too bad for O'Sullivan, but with ball in hand, he's knocked in a good shot there, Carter.
Yes, it feels like things have just sort of shifted back again towards Ali Carter this time. It's been hard work today, but remember, the game only looks easy because the players are so good. It's a hard game, and when you get the little nudges not going for you and just things going wrong, it can become very frustrating, of course. But that's where mental fortitude is so important. And there is a definite little spring in Carter's step now. He was looking a bit fed up earlier, but things have changed after that last frame for sure.
Just nudge that red into a better spot for both of the reds that were close to each other. And just landing behind the two reds, so yeah, there is a slight shift, and Carter at the moment looks the more focused of the two.
24.
It looked like O'Sullivan was going to go 5-2 up, quite honestly. But he missed I think, a sloppy red to the right middle. He's thinking about position and forgot the pot. I mean, if he was to lose this match, I'm sure that shot would be the one that he'd remember. I'm not saying he will lose. He's still in front, but not necessarily for much longer.
33. 40.
We're going to need a couple more reds, but of course, in that fifth frame, he eventually missed what was frame ball red. When again, it looked like he had all the momentum going his way.
$41.
Well, those two reds looked like they might be a plant. You won't need them, of course, if you can get onto the red. The left-hand red of the two into the left corner from the right side of the table, but he's quite straight on this. He could possibly force a little bit of an angle. Oh dear, what's he done there? Oh, cue ball's gone nowhere. There's about 4 or 5 different options, and that certainly was not one of them. You could have screwed back and maybe played the plant. I might get another look at the table in a minute, but I know one thing, the breaks ended at the point where he just needed one more red. Now, is that going to be a shot that comes back to haunt him? Because if this frame's like all the others, Sullivan will somehow dish up.
Harry Carter, 47.
Well, 51 in front, 59 on, but they are all on. That's the problem for Carter here. Not got no colours on cushions or anything.
Yeah, and he'll be as aware of it as anybody, especially after that last visit where on the pink, where the cube would just stop dead in the worst place of all. You're thinking about that one. Especially now that he's missed. Or has he? Hang on a minute.
Oh. Wow. No one knew.
I thought it might drop in, actually. To be honest, he missed it by a mile, the original pot, so he lost all control of everything. He's got to get onto his colour here.
Yeah, he's just checking the scores, isn't he?
Any colour will do, but then it just depends on what pressure he's put himself for the remaining reds with high value colours.
1.
Best to take something as high value as you can, as early as you can. I mean, he doesn't really want to play the yellow, but it's actually probably the best option. Then he's got to be careful, because you're going to have to take at least one black. Be looking for more points than 2, I think, for this red. This gives him a bit of breathing space playing the pink. I think he had no choice there.
Seven. 8. $14.
Yeah, he was just walking away at the end. He didn't think it would drop. Well, what a funny old match it's turned into.
Yeah, I mean, he wanted to hold it, and I think he wanted to play it into that left jaw. Otherwise, he was coming a bit down the centre of the table. I mean, Carter is snookered, but you can just feel that he's going to swerve it round and pot it. The only thing that would worry him would be, if he played it that way, would be to follow the cue ball in. This should be gettable. Any contact, of course, is going to see it go in. Yeah, that was never really much of a problem. What's going on now? All I can see is Peggy Lee darting around the table. I mean, something must have distracted her there.
I mean, Peggy Lee, I mean, the snooker's been the least of her worries. Everything else has been going on for her. Almost need like a sort of square leg umpire, don't they, helping her?
Yeah, it's been a difficult evening here.
Carter will be very relieved because it's been a sort of match where whoever has not killed the frame has lost it, but Ronnie O'Sullivan couldn't make the clearance on this occasion. 45 in it, 35 on, and he's seen enough. Well, it's turned round. It's turned round in a big way. O'Sullivan was looking good for 5-2, but we're all square with a possible 3 frames to play at 4-4. This match is anyone's. So, what does frame 9 have in store for us? 4-4. Could have been any score by now, really. Ali Carter, though, has won the last 2.
He's coming in at a fairly high angle and he's hit the wrong ball, hit the pink.
Ali Carter 6.
Ronnie not really getting too involved in the replacement procedure. It's not a very nice shot because he was coming at a slightly odd angle around the cushions to get to the bunch of reds. He wants to get to the top side of that bunch. Just hit the pink last time on the way through. Coming at a different angle this time. Well, it's not the red he tried to hit. Tried to hit the red that Ali Carter probably go for, the one below the black. Oh, goodness me. What's going to happen next in this frame? There's been, in this match, there's been a number of errors that just grazed the near jaw. That was not so difficult to hit. Well, we had all these centuries, haven't we, all week? Over 100 here at the venue. This match between two tremendous break builders, we've seen nothing anywhere near a century. Been a strange old match.
Yeah, and the fact that the overwhelming response to the audience there was laughter, it tells you something, doesn't it? It's been quite a strange game, but anyway, Carter with another chance. And he must be feeling the better of the two right now, because he looks certain to go 5-2 down. Battle back to 4 each. Is the O'Sullivan challenge now starting to wane?
Very much so. But as we know, I think both players must know that there's possibly a miss from themselves just around the corner, because it's been like that. No player has broke free and won frames in a single visit.
Eight. $16.
Yeah, I think now the issue for Peggy Lee is a few latecomers just taking their seats, and strictly sort of not supposed to do that really during a frame, but again, she's just making her feelings known.
Well, into the bunch perhaps here. Need a bit of luck. No, he's not playing it. Playing on the loose thread in the middle of the pack, which is fair enough. To be honest, I think if you go into the bunch right now, you're likely to knock something in.
21.
It's been that kind of afternoon and evening, but you've just got enough room to get through here.
$22.
What a roller coaster of emotions, though. Sometimes snooker players can sort of lose the plot a bit. We can understand why, watching matches like this. Into the reds then. Well, they skimmed off them. Again, that sort of sums up the afternoon, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those shots, the harder you hit that, the wider the arc. And, you end up not really hitting the reds at all.
Well, Zhang Anda will be relieved. He's won that 8th frame against Ding, who got the snookers he needed and had a chance actually on the last red, but Zhang's won it. So 5-3, he's one away from the semi-finals. What a season he's having.
Harry Carter, 29. One.
Oh, it doesn't go on the black spot or its own spots up onto the brown.
7.
So, slightly unusual set of balls here where they're placed.
8.
Now, is Sullivan going to spring into life? Because I think he just took his foot off the pedal when he looked like he was going to really surge away. It's not like him to do that, but he certainly did this afternoon. It's not as if, you know, he wouldn't dearly love to beat Ali Carter. So I'm pretty sure he would.
40. 50.
Now, the problem with the 6 reds, just the way they're placed, is going to come into play.
21.
Wanted to get a low angle, which is a good shot actually there to get there to the pink on the black spot. Now screwing into the little gap between the reds. Oh goodness me, I mean, you see the position of the balls there. I can't believe he's not finished on one. He's unlucky.
And you can understand the reaction, as I say. I mean, it's been, you know, pretty bruising stuff, really, the things that have gone wrong. This time, it's your first real sign from him of frustration.
Well, he gave the cue a bit of a whack on the side of the table and probably didn't do the cue any favours. I think he's actually looking down at it now. What has he done to it? He was going through a little gap in the middle of that cluster of 6 reds. And you thought, well, this is just going to open them up beautifully. That he's going to be on about 4 reds. But he finished in a surprising place, actually. So all he could do was play safe. The last thing he wanted to do.
Well, the good news is whoever wins will have tomorrow off. I think they're going to need it, where this is going. But obviously, we don't yet know who's going to come through. It's 11:15 in the evening here in Tianjin. Still quite a bit of mileage in this one, you fancy?
Played it well with left-hand side, swinging the cue ball round. He's playing the brown. It's going to be a thin pot. It's not easy, this. You've sort of got to screw it, I think. It's a great shot. That really is.
5.
Now he's in a really good position to capitalise on that last shot.
Six.
Yeah, he's trying to make something happen. Maybe that little bit of frustration, in a way, has helped him. Just get on the front foot again.
Certainly might have helped him, but I'm not sure it did his cue any good. which isn't helping him.
No, it's not advisable, is it? Wood v wood.
No, he looked down at it, didn't he, a couple of times after he'd sort of whacked it against the rail, as if that maybe he's got a little dent. But anyway, for now, he's okay. The cue's good, and a few of the shots he's playing have been a slight improvement from what we've seen up until now.
Well, apologies, I don't know what's happened to the score graphic. Hopefully that will return.
$90. 20. $26. Sure.
Well, those scores aren't right. I can tell you that now, because
27.
well, I'm not sure about the scores actually, because it might have been they were putting, just looking back a few minutes, some of Ronnie's points seem to be going on Ali Carter's score, so maybe they are correct now, but there's been some kind of a misunderstanding.
33.
Either way, even if they are right, you'll need this red.
Well, we saw the frustration earlier when he didn't land on a red. He banged his cue, but then he got down, he knocked in a great red, good brown as well. Now he needs this red for 5-4. So he's just found something at the right time. And once again, it's advantage O'Sullivan.
Yeah, and also once again, it's one of those frames in which whoever has won it is probably favourite to lose it in the early stages.
Well, O'Sullivan will be hoping to win 6-4, but if it ends up a decider, you wonder what sort of frame it's going to be based on the match. It's been a strange old business, really. But O'Sullivan, since that first reaction, maybe he did need that. Maybe he needed to let out some emotion. Either way, he's won the frame.
55.
Just feels like there's a bit more energy about him now than there was before. He'd kind of been drawn into the way the match had gone, but he's maybe broken free of the shackles a bit with this contribution. Yeah, he's got something out of his system there, but more importantly, he's won the frame. So Ronnie O'Sullivan is one from the semis, 5-4.
Ready to experience track racing like never before? Thought so. It's time to race. It's fast. It's fierce. And it's all at your fingertips. Know when a rider is attacking. Know when a rider is giving their all.
Experience track racing like never before.
So when they clip in, you connect.
Powered by AWS.
On the other table, Zhang Anda leads Ding Junhui 5-3. The winners will play each other on Saturday in the semis. Jordan Brown and Tom Ford up tomorrow.
Yeah, well, it's not too bad. Obviously, there is a possible red to the left corner, but queuing over the whole bunch is no fun.
Yeah, he was staying there wondering if he was going to leave him severely hampered, but he didn't. Then there was a sort of swish of the cue.
I don't think Carter was pleased with that. Cue ball didn't come out for the black in the way that he was hoping. It's awkward again. It's an ongoing theme. Just so many shots have just gone into positions where the next shot is tricky. These cutback blacks, there's a red belt by the line of his cueing as well, and the bunch, not easy to get on a colour. Oh, well, they broke up a treat this time. But they're still not an easy next red. And these reds have absolutely opened up. Look at that. It's quite something. Good shot.
9.
Cue ball going fractionally too far on the blue, and nothing will go to the right corner from down that centre. So again, got some thinking to do to get onto his next red.
Well, it's in his hands for now, but where the balls are, if he does falter, he could hand the chance for O'Sullivan to get it won. So high stakes now at this stage of the match. Oh, dear.
Well, he misjudged that by quite a long way, screwed it.
4.
The in-off didn't really ever seem like a factor in that shot, I've got to be honest. I think really very easy on the table still. Despite the red being missed by a long way, he lost control of it. I think the situation is made worse by the red that went up the other end of the table. He can't even play safe off it. You know, he's completely obscured by the yellow, so he hasn't even got that option. And he can't get the cue ball into the bulkhead for that same reason. He's down there. So what does he play here? I mean, the right-hand red would be a mighty difficult shot, this one with the rest. Don't know if he'd be considering the pot. Possibly not. Problem with the shot he's played there, and I think he's done well just to keep things safe, is that Ronnie can just push that red by the yellow down the table and get Ali in trouble. But he didn't have much else in the way of options. Had to play a shot of some kind.
Well, because he got so close, it has stayed over the pocket. So O'Sullivan has some sort of chance here. In the frame he needs to reach the semi-finals. Yeah, he got close to it. Shot to nothing, but the red has stayed over the pocket is the problem.
One.
Well, he has played poorly today, both of them have, and the table's been a little... Well, the breaks haven't quite come in either sense of the word, really. Actual scoring breaks or just nudges, nothing's gone right. But, you know, can he see the winning line now? Because there is a real chance. Ali knocked the black off his spot about 2 or 3 safety shots back.
7.
Which, of course, Sullivan would love to see back on there, but you have to make do with the pink for now.
Well, is Ali Carter's misery against Ronnie O'Sullivan going to continue? 16-1 to O'Sullivan coming in on the head-to-head. Remember, O'Sullivan has not been in a semi-final in a ranking tournament since the World Championship 2022, 18 months ago. He's come good in invitation events since, but these sort of day in, day out events where you've got to win so many matches, not quite been doing it. That can change this weekend if he can just put himself through to the semis.
15.
It's not a good shot to hit the blue, but actually, for once, he's nudged it into a fairly promising position. A bit of an awkward stretch, though, which is against him. I think this is a pretty big shot This goes in. There's no reason why he shouldn't continue the break to the point where he could get him over the line.
$20.
It's about as hard as you could hit that, I think, because it's quite an acute angle to the middle.
$26. $27.
So this is where you're pleased to make 50, 55 or something like that, which takes you very close to the winning line. This is a sign that, you know, that time when he banged his cue on the table, he's definitely had a little bit more passion and emotion in his game since then. I think he just went a little bit flat in the middle of this match. Both players did. Combination of things didn't help them. Conditions and balls not going in great spots, but he's just putting it all right here.
$40. $41.
There was a match years ago where he beat Carter, best of 9 in Belfast. He had 5 centuries in the 5 frames he won. It can be unplayable, but even if he's not playing at his best, he's still hard to beat, as we're seeing here.
Yeah, that's true. He's not always been the most difficult to beat. You know, in other words, you might see a John Higgins or Mark Selby win with their B or C game, but I think he's become better at doing it.
Well, again, it comes down to attitude, doesn't it? You know, I mean, yes, that one reaction, which in retrospect, as you say, probably helped wake him up. But other than that, he kept his focus while all the sort of madness was happening in the match. Things going against him, losing position. Has it in his hands here to get this one.
$52. $53.
Just needs this pink, if he takes the pink, of course, and one more red.
$59.
Looks to be the one. Ooh, well, that next shot would have definitely been the one. And he's still angry, even though it would take a turnaround for Carter to somehow win this frame.
He's furious, isn't he? But Carter does need 2 snookers.
$1.
Well, that smile is masking a lot of pain. Something's got to go in here. Otherwise, it's handshake time or more likely fist bump time. There was a chance today, certainly, to get the win over this man, which is well, rare as hen's teeth for Ali Carter. Yeah, you see the problem now. 44 in it, 35 on.
There is, but there's one sort of big shot here, in behind the black and the red round next to a bolt colour. I mean, it's hard, but it'd be a horrid shot to hit if you got the shot right. Where's the red going to finish is the question. It's really what we want to know. Well, he'll be annoyed. If he could have got the red just lying right next to the green or yellow, this would have been a nasty position to be in for O'Sullivan. And I think you saw Ronnie sitting down there, and he wasn't, I think he did one. He looked quite annoyed with himself that he'd missed that previous ball. It's a great effort, this, isn't it?
Foul.
And it was a horrid snooker to hit. But at least he hasn't left a free ball, or he was never going to either, where the red landed.
That's the thing, isn't it? Like you say, the red where it was difficult to hit, but the free ball didn't really come into it. But anyway, he's got one. So there's a bit of hope here for Ali Carter. Still we're back to needing two now.
That's a really good effort. The only thing he's done, though, is he's actually pushed that black into a position which is no good to him at all. But it was a great try. I think Ronnie was annoyed when he broke down there, because he knows that there's, you know, that once in a 50 or 100, he's going to have to pay for a mistake like that in this position. His opponent, because.
Oh, no, didn't want it in. Well, that sort of sums things up, really. Yeah, thanks a lot, snooker gods.
Well, if he doesn't pot his colour here, I'm pretty sure there'll be a handshake, because there will be extra snookers required. So I think we can safely say no further pots from Carter. There'll be no further play in the match. It'll be the end. It's not been a classic match, let's be honest. It's had its dramas, not had any big breaks.
And extends the record against Ali Carter, 17 wins to 1. O'Sullivan, I think, couldn't kind of wait in the end to get out of there. There was no sort of chatting or anything, just seen enough. We'll have tomorrow off, and we'll be back on Saturday. But who will he play? It's either Ding Junhui or Zhang Anda, and Zhang is it